Unfortunately, I have never ever seen my dad. I lost my dad when I was still young. I also lost my mother when I was still a teenager. And so life was very hard for me. Like you said about the poverty, we grew up in at Lake Bunyonyi, and sometimes because I didn't have the parents, it was very hard for me, especially going to school. Sometimes I would fail to go to school because I wouldn't have the scholastic materials, like books, like pens. I would not even have the lunch. I recall very well one day when the teachers chased me from the class, and I didn't want to go back home because I knew there was nothing I was going to do, and I wanted to keep around the school. I remember going outside the class and just hiding behind the class next to the window so that I can be able to hear what the teacher was teaching while he was inside. And when the teacher saw me, he had to chase me that we chased you to go home. Now you are still here. So life was very hard. And so I went through all of that. Sometimes you would have food. Sometimes there would be no food. Sometimes you don't know when you are going to have the next meal. And so life was very hard. But later on, I was lucky that after all of that, someone supported me to go to secondary school. That is after I had repeated my final school year in the primary level. I had repeated it for 3 times because I had no one take me to secondary school. And I had a dream that at one point maybe I can also go to secondary school. So that's when after 3 years of repeating the same class, I happened to get a stranger from Canada who offered to give me scholarship to go to secondary school. And I went to secondary school and I did very well. And from there, that's when I went to college to become a teacher.
I was also impressed by the water capturing systems on people's roofs and how much of a difference it makes to be able to capture and treat water. That's made a very big difference as well, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has. Of course, that was one of the challenges also we had because people are taking about 2 to 4 hours every single day. These were the children, these were the mothers, and so they would not be able to have a chance to be with their children, especially the mothers, and the children would not have a chance to go to school. And because it is mountainous, like I said, we are in the mountains, so most of the where we get the water is down the hills. So people would spend about 2 to 4 hours every day. But we invented a system where we tap the water off from the roof into the hole where we have the tapperine that holds water, 7,000 liters of water. And this is very good enough for about a family of 6 to 8 people to be able to have the water for a period of 3 months during the dry season. So it has helped them. And one live example is these children who were not going to school because now they have the water. They have been able to flood. They are now into the school, and actually we have created a challenge for the school from 400 children to now over 1,000 children in this very school. So the number has increased because now children have more time to go to school than they would spend going down the hills just to collect water. Like when we came into these very communities at the beginning, people were being cheated by the banks. Because they were taking a lot of interest from them. And so some of the people would even lose some of the small things they have to the bank. And when we went to this very community, we thought, what can we do for this very community so that we can also be able to help them? And this is when we had a friend who actually was able to raise 10,000 US dollars, and we gave it to the community. And because the community was already having some income generating projects, like the water, like the rabbits, like the vegetables, we looked at how they can also be able to contribute at least $50 per month. This was just to make sure that they own the project. And so they contribute at least $50 per month. And then the 10,000 that is invested in the pool, people come and they borrow from the same money. They pay a small interest, but at the end of the year, this interest they have been able to pay, they divide it at the end of the year, but they keep the 10,000 into the group so that it keeps us revolving money for even the following years. So we have seen how it has been able to connect the communities. It has united the community, they are responsible, and they feel very happy because they know they are not losing the money outside to the banks, which are owned by big people, but they are using the same money to also help them. And one live example of this very village bank is when we gave one of the ladies the loan, and she was able to start up a small shop in the community. And when she set up this very shop, she started making some money. As we talk today, she has been able to raise some money, and she has been able to take her daughter to the
Alex, welcome to the Nifty Travel Podcast.
Thank you, Alex. Nice to meet you.
Indeed, indeed. Well, the first thing I always like to ask is about your earliest memories of travel.
Oh, thank you. My earliest memories of travel, I recall very well when I had some people who were traveling to Queen Elizabeth National Park, and they took me to one of the parks that is here in Uganda, and I went there, and first animal that I spotted was a warthog, and I'd never seen it, so it was kind of a surprise to me that such animals are there, and I was actually in the country, but I had never gone there at any point in time. So it is one of the things I recall very well on one of my first trips here in Uganda.
Yeah, and it's interesting about visiting your own country, isn't it? As a traveling person, it's very tempting to travel more outside of your country than it is inside.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, most of the people usually go outside, and sometimes you find you don't know even your own country. So I've been able to access most parts of the country, Uganda, and every time I go in a different part of the country, it doesn't seem to be the same like the one I have been to. So it is also nice to be in the country and enjoy your country as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, before I ask you about you and how you've arrived to where you are today, I think it'd be quite good for the audience to understand which part of Uganda you're based in, because I was having a look at the map this morning, and I was saying, yeah, that looks like southwestern Uganda. So paint me a picture of where you are in relation to other places of interest people might have heard of.
Oh, thank you so much. So thank you for the opportunity. Like I said, my name is Alex, and I'm from Uganda. I am basically from the southwestern part of Uganda. I am 9 hours away from my capital city, which is Kampala, and I'm 2 hours away from Kigali, Rwanda, which is the neighbor country, and I am just in the corner of the country. Some people, they may know the mountain gorillas in Uganda. That's one of the wildlife most people know. So I'm seated right here about 1 hour and a half from the mountain gorillas where they are. So I am just right here in the corner of Uganda in the southwestern part.
Yeah, and I was having a look at the satellite view, and I couldn't decide whether you have small mountains or large hills. How is it for you?
Yes, we have big mountains, we have hills, we have valleys. So it's a mixture of different landscapes. So we have also big mountains and also have the hills.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's the slight disadvantage of using satellite technology. The whole world looks flat.
Okay. Yeah, that's true.
So, yeah, it'd be great to understand where you come from, because one thing that you highlight is actually the reason a lot of things happen in your life later. So you described coming out of a poverty background. There were a lot of challenges for you as a young person. Could you tell us a bit about it and how it influenced your later life choices?
Okay. Yeah. So like I said, I'm from the southwestern part of Uganda. I come from a place called Lake Bunyonyi in a village called Bufuka. It's on the shores of Lake Bunyonyi. Lake Bunyonyi is one of the deepest lake in Uganda. It's actually the deepest lake in Uganda, the second deepest lake in Africa, and the third deepest lake in the whole world. So this is where I was born. Unfortunately, I have never ever seen my dad. I lost my dad when I was still young. I also lost my mother when I was still a teenager. And so life was very hard for me. Like you said about the poverty, we grew up in at Lake Bunyonyi, and sometimes because I didn't have the parents, it was very hard for me, especially going to school. Sometimes I would fail to go to school because I wouldn't have the scholastic materials, like books, like pens. I would not even have the lunch. I recall very well one day when the teachers chased me from the class, and I didn't want to go back home because I knew there was nothing I was going to do, and I wanted to keep around the school. I remember going outside the class and just hiding behind the class next to the window so that I can be able to hear what the teacher was teaching while he was inside. And when the teacher saw me, he had to chase me that we chased you to go home. Now you are still here. So life was very hard. And so I went through all of that. Sometimes you would have food. Sometimes there would be no food. Sometimes you don't know when you are going to have the next meal. And so life was very hard. But later on, I was lucky that after all of that, someone supported me to go to secondary school. That is after I had repeated my final school year in the primary level. I had repeated it for 3 times because I had no one take me to secondary school. And I had a dream that at one point maybe I can also go to secondary school. So that's when after 3 years of repeating the same class, I happened to get a stranger from Canada who offered to give me scholarship to go to secondary school. And I went to secondary school and I did very well. And from there, that's when I went to college to become a teacher. And 2007, I qualified as a primary teacher.
And so did that mean you were still based in Western Uganda and you taught in schools there, or were you out the area?
Actually, I was in the same place because the primary school was about maybe 100 meters away from my home. It was not very far from me. So I was very close to the school. That was the primary school. The secondary school where I went to is still the same locality at Lake Bunyonyi. And I was lucky that I was studying in the secondary school when I got the chance. I had to go to secondary school in the middle of the lake. It's called Lake Bunyonyi, and there was an island, and in this island there was a primary school and a secondary school. So I had to go to this secondary school on the island at Lake Bunyonyi. It was once called the Lepers Island, and it was where they would have all the people all over the world, all over East Africa, sorry, where most of these people who had leprosy, Dr. Sharp, who was also from the UK, was the one who was able to collect all these people from all over East Africa as a doctor to bring them on this very island so that he can be able to treat them. So later time went on, people got the medication and the medicine for leprosy, and the island was left with buildings, which they decided to put a secondary school. So that is exactly where I went to for my secondary school. And also the college was not very far from me. It was about maybe 1 hour, 1 hour and a half drive from where I was to the college where I went for teaching. So I did all my education in the southwestern part of Uganda.
Well, you obviously liked education because a few years after that, well, you and your now business partner decided that it would be a good idea to start a school of your own. So how did that come about?
Oh, thank you. Yeah, how that one came about, after I had finished college, I had always wanted, I had a dream of helping and supporting other children who were having the same challenges like I had before of going to school. And the fact that I had been able to attain education certificate, I was able to teach these children on the streets. And this is when we had one of the meetings in one of the community meetings that we usually gather. And that is when one of the community members asked if we could be able to start a community school. We had no idea about what to do with the school, but this community member asked if we could be able to start a community school together with my co-founder. And we went on to start a community school, and we called it Amasiko, which simply means hope. So we started to think about how we can be able to bring these children to school, especially those who were abandoned, those who were on the streets, those who were also having parents, but we couldn't afford to go to school. So in 2014, that was September 15th, is when we decided to start up a community school to help bring these children from different backgrounds so that they can also have a chance and an opportunity to go to school.
Yeah, and as you say, that there were you wanted to do this because of the challenges that you had experienced. Um, but I suppose you found that many of the children you were attracting were having, were having similar challenges. Like, because I see that you make a point of saying, as well as the education, it's about making sure the children have 3 meals a day, and they feel that there's somewhere safe for them to for them to stay while they're in the education system. And even today, you mentioned the importance of emotional support, because every child has a potentially different background. I suppose all these things didn't happen at once, but yeah, but how I suppose how did you organize it? So is it like one step at a time?
Oh yeah, this has been a step at a time, because when we started with teaching these children in the community before even the school. So we would teach them under the tree. We would find some of them in their homes, and we would definitely be able to teach them. And some of them would actually do very well when they go back to primary school to be with others, and they could perform well. So that's when we thought about, when they asked about starting up the community school, we actually didn't have the buildings. There was no building. We didn't have the finances. We didn't have anything like to start with. But the community believed in us and said, if you can be able to start a community school, then that would be good. We didn't know why, but we came to realize that the reason as to why they said we do so is because they had seen the potential in us, what we had done with the children, even without a school. And I think they looked at it and they said, what if these people had a school where they can have all these children at a go? How would it be? So that's how we started the school. And I remember we had to go to one of he was the former minister of in this government, and we asked him if he could be able to help us with one of the buildings that he had. He had this building that was actually, it was a factory building, but he had abandoned it for some years, so it was not in use. So when we went to him and we asked him if he could be able to give us that same building so that we can be able to take our children in, he was very hesitant because he looked at it and said, no, you cannot put these children in because the building is almost to collapse. It is not very furnished very well. But we told him, yes, we see it is not very furnished well, but the children, what they need is just the roof on top of their head. All they need is where they need to belong, and they know they can be able to study. So that's when we agreed with him, and we started to renovate the same with the support of other people, some friends, and they supported us to paint the same building. We did some renovation, and we brought the children in. I remember when we started 15 September 2014, we only had 13 children to start with. And later on, we kept growing and growing one at a time, bringing in more children. The numbers were big, but of course, where to house them was the biggest problem. So we kept bringing in the few that we could maintain. So we started with only 13. Every year we would add another class. Another year we would add another class as we bring the children from different backgrounds. But now, 12 years down the road, we have 420 children who are under our care in the school, and about 250 have been able to finish through our primary school. Some of them are in secondary school, some are in tertiary institution, some are in actually in the university. The first batch that we had in 2014, they are in the university. So it has been a process. It has been a step from day one up to date. And we do not only provide them with education, but also provide them with skills, because we believe that these children deserve the skills. It's not, however much we are doing very well, because this very community school has been able to do well in the municipality where we are, by even outperforming the private schools and even some of the government schools. But we don't only teach these children only education, but we also give them life skills, whereby we give them the life skills so that in the future they may need these skills, not only in the class skills, but outside skills, like farming skills. We teach these children how to grow vegetables, how to grow fruits. The same fruits, the same vegetables they grow is the same food they eat in the kitchen. We have been able to teach the girl child, because most of the girl children have been able to have the problem with their menstruation periods, where they don't get well in the congregation with others, because they fear that anytime they can go into their menstruation periods and they become disappointed. So we have been able to help them, because we found out that they were missing about 15 days, 10 to 15 days every single school term, which is a long time for a girl child to lose all that time. And remember, they have been given this chance, but they would lose it because they are going into the menstruation period. So we have been able to bring in the skill where we teach these children how to make reusable sanitary pads for themselves, together with the teachers and the community. And we have seen that most of them have been able to pick it, and now it is a skill for them and the community. And it's no longer a problem, because this has been given as a skill to them, and currently they are doing very well. And yes, of course, more of the girls in other communities they need, but at least we have seen that it has changed the lives of our children in our school.
Yeah, and as well as skills, presumably you're helping them to dream a little bigger than they did before.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because most of these children, you see, most of the children have the potential, but sometimes they are being neglected to continue with what they want. But because they have come to Amasiko, and remember, Amasiko means hope, they have been able to regain their hope, and they know that at least they can dream big. We have always had those sessions with them that they need to dream big, but little did they have before they came, because they knew nothing. All they wanted was to survive. Now they are dreaming big. That's why you hear that some of our children are in the university. Now they dream, they want to go to the university. I want to become a doctor. I want to become a teacher. I want to become so and so, because now they see there is a future. There is a future for them.
Well, there's also a balance, isn't there, here? Because I believe I saw you mention that life choices are a little different now, aren't they? So you talk about the job market not always being very perhaps easy to define, or it's not easy to get the pathways you're necessarily looking for. So you might steer them to be more entrepreneurial. But you also mentioned that these days, for the best performing students, you try to arrange scholarships. So it sounds very much like the outlook for the students is, their options are increasing.
Yes, indeed, they are increasing, because, like you said, these children, when they are out there in the community, some of them, they have no hope that maybe at one point they can go to secondary school, or they can be able to change their lives. But because they come to school and we have the mentorships with them, we train them, we teach them, that some of us were like you, but look where we are. We have been able to bring up these other the old boys and old girls who are now in the university, who come to the school to inspire even the young ones, to tell them that actually you can even become better than us, and so they believe now in themselves. So this is something that we are seeing in them, and we feel like this should continue, because they are now knowing that yes, however much I come from a very difficult background, but my future can be well when I continue to pursue and dream bigger.
Yeah, absolutely. That's really part of it, isn't it? It's believing that you have the ability to you know, to take part in the next stage of life, wherever that may take you.
Yeah, sure.
Now, one thing that's relatively, well, it is in the present, is that you're looking to build a more permanent school. And I get the impression that you're looking to do it sooner, perhaps, than you intended. I've seen some very detailed drawings online for a permanent school. So yeah, tell us about the project and how are you doing towards its turning into reality?
Oh, thank you so much. We have been having this school for the last 12 years, and we have been at someone's land. We have been renting out this piece of land, and because we have been renting, we have been able to put some temporary structures on the same place. But this year, the government implemented a law which is called the trade law, where they are saying all substandard structures must be put down. And of course, some of our classrooms are substandard. That means if they put the structures down, that means all these children might go back into the communities. They can be back on the streets. And so we looked at what can we do so that these children can keep in school. So we are trying to see if we can move from where we are to one of a new place where we are looking for 6 acres of land where we are going to build permanent structures, so that when we have these permanent structures, these children are sure that they are going to remain in school until they finish, rather than being fading to continue with their schooling. So this is what we are trying to do, and we are trying to move the structures to this very piece of land. We are trying to raise money so that we can be able to buy the land and start on the structures. Luckily, we have been able to put the artistic impressions and the drawings together, and so we are only looking at how we can be able to start building on the land. So we are running actually a GoFundMe page where people can be able to donate towards this securing of the land and the building. So this is what we are trying to do, and anyone is always welcome to give in their support in whatever little or small it can be. It can be able to make a big impact.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll certainly place links to that page after we've
Thank you.
had a chat today. Now, one
Thank you.
thing that you mentioned as part of the education process was about helping children to become self-sufficient.
Yeah.
And of course, there are many challenges that face the local communities, whether it be agriculture, access to fresh water, farming, looking after forests, and you know what animals to keep. And that's kind of some of the ingredients which made you think of having a relationship with a village, which I believe you call Buzano, or you can tell me the correct pronunciation.
Buzaniro.
You...
Buzaniro.
Buzaniro, yes.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
how did the idea come together?
Yeah, thank you. Because these children that we are taking care of, they are coming from different backgrounds, and some of them we get them from these very communities as we bring them to Amasiko Preparatory School. And because we have been going to these very communities, we saw in one of these very community called Buzaniro, we are getting children from this very village. And because we are bringing them from the village, during the holidays, they would want to go back into the village and later come back. So we thought during COVID, that was 2020, that's when we thought about the people we are getting a lot of handouts. And the fact that they had the handouts, we are looking at how can we be able to help this very community. And we call it actually the dream village, that we make it a demonstration village, whereby you find in this very village, they are basics. Talk about water, talk about education, talk about medical care, talk about access to finance or village banking. We looked at it when we said, what if we had this very one village, where this village has all of this, and when we implement these projects, maybe other neighboring villages can be able to cope. So that's how when we were able to start the Dream Village project in the village called Buzaniro, and we started to implement some of these projects that we have been able to start to help exactly to sustain the community as well as the children who live in this very village of Buzaniro.
Yeah, and I was watching the video about it earlier, about how you sort of, you convened the whole village, and you had to sell it to a lot of people, but you succeeded, and you have improved the diet of young people, didn't you, that were not having very much meat to eat.
Yeah, sure. When we went to this very village, of course, they had different challenges. One of them was that malnutrition cases, where children were malnourished, and the fact that they were malnourished, we did some research, and we found out that they were taking meat at least twice in a year. That is when they were lucky. That is on Christmas and on Easter. So we looked at which project we can be able to give them, so that they can be able to get meat at least some more times. And that's when we started with the rabbit breeding. So we started the rabbit breeding in this very village, where we gave 3 rabbits, that is 1 male and 2 females to each family, and so that they can be able to produce. For rabbits, they produce very fast. So we have been able to give rabbits to these very families. And the good thing is that now we have been able to go back and ask some of these farmers whom we gave the rabbits, some of them whom we gave 3 rabbits, some of them have been able to now be able to produce more of the rabbits. And now they are eating meat at least 3 times in a week, more than they ate for the whole year, because they would eat twice in a year. So now they are able to eat the meat. One of them has been able to sell about 45 rabbits, and they are, of course, getting an income from the same. And 3, the waste from the rabbits is going back to the garden, where we are setting up the home gardens. And through these home gardens, they are able to get the waste from the rabbits and goes to the garden. And from the garden gets the weeds, and the weeds goes back to feeding these rabbits. So it's kind of like an ecosystem. And the malnutrition cases have just gone down as compared to as it was before. Now the malnutrition cases have been able to go down.
Yeah. I was also impressed by the water capturing systems on people's roofs, and how much of a difference it makes to be able to capture and treat water. That's made a very big difference as well, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has. Of course, that was one of the challenges also we had, because people are taking about 2 to 4 hours every single day. These were the children, these were the mothers, and so they would not be able to have a chance to be with their children, especially the mothers, and the children would not have a chance to go to school. And because it is mountainous, like I said, we are in the mountains, so most of the where we get the water is down the hills. So people would spend about 2 to 4 hours every day. But we invented a system where we tap the water off from the roof into the hole, where we have a tarpaulin that holds water, 7,000 liters of water. And this is very good enough for about a family of 6 to 8 people to be able to have the water for a period of 3 months during the dry season. So it has helped them. And one live example is these children who were not going to school, because now they have the water, they have been able to flood. They are now into the school, And actually, we have created a challenge for the school from 400 children to now over 1,000 children in this very school. So the number has increased because now children have more time to go to school than they would spend going down the hills just to collect water.
Yeah, it's amazing how much of a knock-on effect it has, isn't it?
Yes, please. Yeah, it has changed. It has actually helped them, especially when you look at even the old women. These old women were in their 60s, some of them were in their 70s, and sometimes they would not even have the energy to go down the hills for 4 hours. But since we started giving them water, we have found out that most of them have never gone back down the hills, and they are very happy, they are very excited. They now can be able to sleep, they can now be able to wash their clothes, they are able to drink good water because we have been able also to improve, to have the bio sand filters that helps to purify this water to 99.9% safe for drinking. So the community is very happy. Those who have already been able to receive the water are very happy, and it has completely changed the whole community setup.
And I imagine, because humans like talking to one another, that other villages have heard about everything that's been going on.
Yes, yes, the villages have been able to hear about that. Some of them are not happy because they also feel like they also need to have the water, and they say maybe this is the only chosen village. But the good thing is that they are also learning what we are doing, and some of them have started to implement it in the neighboring villages, and that was the goal, because we are looking at starting, and we do it like a ripple effect where we start small and people can be able to keep learning and enlarging into different communities around the other villages.
Yeah. Now, of course, we've been talking around lots of important subjects here, but this is a travel channel, and one of the things that led you beyond all these fantastic projects was you suddenly realized that, oh, perhaps there's a way we can include people from other countries to either participate or contribute to projects through tourism. So how did the idea come about, and what are some of the I was going to say rules, but what I really mean is what kind of ecosystem did you want to develop as a result of running tourism?
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah. So after doing all these projects, the school and the community, good enough, we have been receiving different people, the volunteers coming from different parts of the world, and they have enjoyed the community. They have enjoyed coming to Uganda, and every time they come, after their time with us, they want to go on a safari. They would want to go on a safari to see the big five. They want to see the mountain gorillas, because the mountain gorillas, like I said, they're about 1 hour and a half from where I'm seated right now. So they would want to go and see these animals. And so we would end up giving them to other travel agents or tour companies who takes them on the safari, and they would put all the money into their pockets. So we thought, why can't we start up a tour company where we continue to connect travelers with these very communities, because we have seen that most of the people love to go into these very communities, and we connect them with these very communities, and the smaller profits that we get can go back to supporting the community and the school that we already have. And that's when the idea of starting Amatsiko Tours came in, so that we can connect travelers with the community where we are making an impact, because we believe if each travel makes an impact, it is something very good, and that's what we are trying to promote. Unlike these other traditional tourism, where only people are just going from the from the airport to the hotel, from the hotel to the national park, and they go. And sometimes you find they don't even know about Uganda. So if you ask some of them, they will tell you, I know mountain gorillas because I was in Uganda, but I have not been able to connect with the community. So we said we need to be the one to connect these people into these very communities, because we have found out that people remember what the people they met, the stories they shared, than the animal they saw. So this is why we are trying to connect our travelers with the community, where we are making an impact with them.
Yes, you're right to talk about stories, because storytelling is such a powerful, well, it's more powerful than what you actually do, isn't it?
Yeah, true. Yeah, we love stories because people remember those stories than the animals they see. So we feel like people need to connect with the communities. People need to understand what other cultures are, what people are doing on the other side of the country, rather than just rushing from the airport to the park, from the park to the airport. So we feel they need to be connected with these very communities.
So I suppose you mentioned the word rushing. So are you kind of doing the opposite of that? You're going slower.
Yes, we are actually not rushing because we believe in slow travel, deep travel, where people come and they move from where they are coming from. They connect with their communities, they meet the children, they meet the community, they interact with the community, and they continue with their safari. So we feel like travel should not be so much rushed. Actually, you should take your time, because those are some of the memories that you remember than the rushed safari where you are chasing a lion or you are chasing a hippo and you are running. But if you connect with the communities, even the animals, you will see them, but not being rushed on a safari.
So does that mean that you design some of the trips, or perhaps all of the trips, in a similar sort of fashion, whereas other travel companies might have a set itinerary, where when you organize a safari, are you going at a pace that, shall we say, matches the rhythm of the environment that you're traveling within?
Yeah, thank you. When we are planning the itinerary, yes, you are definitely going to be able to see all of these animals or go to these parks. We cannot deny you a chance to be able to see the wildlife, these other primates, but we also show you what other tour companies doesn't show you. So, for example, if you are going for the mountain gorillas, yes, there are people, you find other tour companies, they pick you and you go to see the mountain gorilla and you go back. But for us, we say maybe you can be able to come, you interact with the children, you interact with the communities around the park, you understand who lived in the park before these mountain gorillas, and so that you can be able to connect with them. So we connect the war experience with the community, so that you also experience the communities where you are going to see these wildlife and the primates, so that you can understand. So we definitely connect the community together with the safari that you are going to be on.
Yeah, and gorillas sound fascinating. I've seen wonderful pictures and videos, but they're not the only primates you can see. Can you tell them about some of the other animal experiences you can have?
Oh, thank you. Yeah, there are many others, because the fact that Uganda is one of the countries with the highest number of mountain gorillas. That's why most people know Uganda because of mountain gorilla. But there are other many things that you can be able to see. You can see all the big five. You can be able to see the lions. You can be able to see the hippos. You can be able to see the elephants. You can be able to see the rhinos. You can be able to see the buffaloes. You can be able to see the the giraffe. You can be able to see the zebras. All of these you can be able to see them in Uganda, and they are not very far from actually where we are working from. Most of the parks are around, like I said, most of them are in the western part of Uganda, and some of them are just 2 hours away, 3 hours away, and so you can be able to access them even when you are with Amasiko.
Yeah, sound very easy. The parks, though, are very large. Well, certainly compared with the UK. And well, one of the main, perhaps one of the only forms of transport is by driving. So, what sort of driving experience do you put on for your guests?
Oh, thank you. Yeah, most of the parks can be accessed by road. However much, of course, there are also people who may want also to fly in, because we have internal flights for some of the parks which are very far. But the most common one we use are the cars. We use land cruisers, which are very good with the terrain of the place. And so when people come, they are cars, very good cars actually, where we have the land cruisers good for the terrain. And people come in comfortable cars. We have air conditioned cars. They are all comfortable for tourists. So people, when they come, they are surely able to access all these national parks. Yes, it can be rainy, it can be muddy, but of course, we know, because we have been on the ground for all this time, we know how we move through one place to the other. So that's why we tell people that actually, when you're traveling and you're traveling with someone who is on the ground, they know much more better than someone out there. So this is what we are trying to do, and we connect our people with these national parks by road.
Because you know so much about the local terrain, then, depending on when people come and where they want to go, I assume you advise them on, what things they should bring with wet gear, dry gear, what sort of footwear they should bring along. Do you provide like lists and things for, to help them make the right packing decisions?
Yes, of course. Yes, of course. Most times when people are coming, they are not sure what to bring. So we have been able to simplify that one on our website, where people can be able to see all the packing lists, whatever they want, from day one up to the last day. Sometimes you are on a safari and it is good, but if you actually just travel without knowing what to go with, sometimes it can turn out to be a bad safari. So we have been able to provide all the details, all the parking list on our website, that you can be able to check and see, if I'm going to Africa, if I'm going to Uganda, what can I wear? What can I have with me? What type of chargers can I go with? So all of that, we've been able to put it down on our website.
Yeah, it's supposed to be organized even when you don't feel like it.
Exactly. Exactly.
So would you say that you cater for many different traveling types? So I don't know, friends, couples, families, people who travel solo, for instance. How do you approach forming the groups?
Oh, thank you. For the people who travel with us, different people come to be with us. We have solo travelers, those who want to travel alone. We have been able to have couples. People want to travel as a couple. We have families. We have family type, where people can come as a family, and they are able to come and see the wildlife and experience. We have also been able to organize some group tours, where people from different parts of the world, they combine and they form a group. Usually we don't have big groups, about 6 to 12 people, because we don't also want bigger crowds in the community. We want a small number of people. So we also organize group tours of 6 to 12 people. And people can join in group tours. They can come in as solo travelers, or they can come in as couple, or they can even come in as a family. So a family can organize and say, we want to come as a family of maybe 5 or 6. We can definitely be able to organize for them.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it sounds flexible depending on who's in the area at any given time then.
Yeah, true. Yeah, so anyone is welcome, and we can be able to organize any kind of travel or any kind of group that people might want to join in.
Yes. Now, I was told confidentially that drivers are not just drivers; they are walking encyclopaedias. They is this true?
Oh, thank you so much for that. Thank you for that good research. Yes, most of our people, our guides are here in Uganda. Most of them, these are people who have grown up in these parts of the country. They know all the directions. They know everything, because they have grown up from this very particular area. So they are the encyclopedias of these wonderful places, because they know from deep their heart, they know each path, each corner of the park, each corner of the village, they know it. So that's why actually, as Amatsiko Tours, we believe in working with local guides, because the local guide knows exactly every part of every corner of the area. So you are right; they're like an encyclopedia in their communities.
Yeah. And hopefully some of your guys have come through your school system.
Yes, actually, of them from our school, some of them have been able to go through our school preparatory school, and now they are guides in the communities where they come from. So it is indeed easy for them to tell you this is that, because they have been there for all the years.
Yeah, that must be a beautiful thing for you to have seen their journey like that.
Indeed, it has been nice. Looking at someone when he's just 3 years, you see him how he struggles, but now you find him is also the one now being the guide of others. It feels so good, and you feel happy. Look, when we see that one happening in the communities, because like we started, these are some of the children who came. They had no hope at all. They had no dream at all. But now they are the ones who are guiding the people. They are the ones who are sharing the story about Uganda, and we really love it, and we see it is something that is changing our communities.
Yeah. And do you see a lot of people now more willing, I mean, Ugandans generally, do you see that more Ugandans are willing to travel more within their own country and the wider region?
Yes, like we said, some of them, of course, like people, uh, most people, they are not good at traveling. Some people have been in their places for so long, especially the older people in the deep in the community. Sometimes it becomes very hard for them to access other parts of the country. But what we have seen coming, especially with the young generation, they are being educated to love their country and be able to traverse the country. Because we have seen groups of students, we have seen groups of people, we have seen families travel from one corner of the country to the other corner of the country. And so it feels very good seeing other people, even the Ugandans also going into their country and enjoying it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, I noticed that there are a number of very unique looking experiences people uh, can try whilst they're in Uganda. A few caught my attention. Um, Banana juicing. I've not. I like bananas, but I've never turned them into juice. Um, Coffee making, tea plantation. Uh, yeah, I mean, are there many opportunities throughout the country to sample coffee and tea and banana juicing?
Oh, yeah, that's very good research. Yeah, indeed, Uganda is well known to be the banana country. Most people eat banana here, and we make actually juice from banana. So most of our travelers, when they come, they enjoy that experience where they can be able to see how to make juice from banana, and also we can also they make also the gin. You see how to make the gin locally from the bananas, and people enjoy the experience. So it is one of the experience people enjoy, as well as the coffee. I recently had a client who was coming from Australia. They were in their 70s, and she has been taking coffee for more than 50 years. And she only knows that coffee, you take it in the cup and drink, but she had never seen how to grow coffee. So she was really happy when we had an experience of how to go in the garden, see how they grow the coffee, how they prune the coffee, how they harvest the coffee, how they grind the coffee, and how they make the coffee. So these are experiences that actually we give to our people so that they can be able to continue to learn these experiences. Not most companies do that, but we are trying to say, no, look, this is what people should actually experience when they come to Africa.
Yeah. And I guess similarly for tea plantations, you know, as you know, we don't tend to see the production of either tea or coffee. So I think I would personally find it very interesting uh, to see where my tea and coffee comes from.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Now, another thing which is tied very much to communities is traditional craft making. So, are these things that are specifically tied to communities? Can you see them in general markets? How does it normally work?
Oh wow, that's very good. Yeah, actually, we during on our trips with our clients, we usually have those experiences in the community. As one of the activities they do is to learn how to make crafts using the local materials around. We have community members, we have women groups that have been able to train in making crafts, and so most of our travelers, when they come, we teach them how to make the crafts. The quicker you are, the better you can be able to go with any craft that you make. So we connect our people, our travelers, with the communities, how to make the bracelets, how to make the baskets, how to make bags from banana fibers, from papyrus reeds. So you can, when you come on our tours, you are sure that they are going to learn something. You actually learn on the trip. It's not just enjoying, but also learning from the community members.
Yeah. And do you think this is helping to preserve these traditional skills? You know, is there? Yeah, I mean, how otherwise some skills might get lost, mightn't they?
Yes, because like you say, we are trying to preserve these cultures because we know by doing so, one, the women or the group people who are making these crafts, one, they are making an income, but two, they're also preserving the culture because we want to make sure that this continues, even to teach other children who are growing up so that they know that this is how our grandparents used to do the crafts. So even our children are learning, the guests, when they come, they learn. So we are trying to make sure that this continues, not just to stop, not just to entertain people, but as something that is preserved within our communities and can continue to be remembered and continues as a culture.
Yeah, the ecosystem isn't just about some of the things we've been talking about. It's also economic, and everything filters around, doesn't it?
Yeah, yes, it filters around because we see people when they come, like we said, when they go for gorillas or they go on a safari, people have also to see these experiences because people learn. Unlike going like we had started, like going directly to the park, when they get connected to these very communities, one, the community that receives them, they make an impact because if you buy a product or a craft from this group, they are able to sustain their families. Who knows? Maybe a family might have missed a meal because maybe someone didn't buy a craft. So, but when someone comes into the community, they learn, they buy a piece of craft. They are supporting these very communities, and they can also even help them to take their children back to school. So it's one of the it's economically important for the community, and we try to help to connect these people, these travelers, so that they can be able to access all these communities. The community benefits, and also the traveler benefits. So it becomes a win-win for both of the traveler and the community where they go to.
Do you find that because you mentioned like introducing like community banking, which probably is something the community would never have considered doing, but because there's this economic ecosystem as well as everything else, are you finding that well, it's natural, isn't it, that different villages will have different people with different skills? Do you think this is as it becomes more widespread, there'll be more interactions between different communities and villages than perhaps there was before.
Yes, it actually changes the communities. Like when we came into these very communities at the beginning, people were being cheated by the banks because they were taking a lot of interest from them, and so some of the people would even lose some of the small things they have to the bank. And when we went to this very community, we thought, what can we do for this very community so that we can also be able to help them? And this is when we had a friend who actually was able to raise 10,000 US dollars, and we gave it to the community. And because the community was already having some income generating projects, like the water, like the rabbits, like the vegetables, we looked at how they can also be able to contribute at least $50 per month. This was just to make sure that they own the project, and so they contribute at least $50 per month, and then the 10,000 that is invested as in the pool, people come and they borrow from the same money. They pay a small interest, but at the end of the year, this interest they have been able to pay, they divide it at the end of the year, but they keep the 10,000 into the group so that it keeps us revolving money for even the following years. So we have seen how it has been able to connect the communities. It has united the community. They are responsible, and they feel very happy because they know they are not losing the money outside to the banks, which are owned by big people, but they are using the same money to also help them. And one live example of this very village bank is when we gave one of the ladies the loan, and she was able to start up a small shop in the community. And when she set up this very shop, she started making some money. As we talk today, she has been able to raise some money, and she has been able to take her daughter to the university. This is the first child in the world community of about 3,200 people to go to the university. And you can imagine, what if we didn't start this one? When we started this one, it was just to help them not to go to the bank. But look, now people have been able to get the money. They have been able to start up small shops. They have been able to take their children to school. They have been able to make some good connections. So it is something that we started, which was very small, but it has completely changed the community, and it has actually connected them, because they run these initiatives as a community, and they are responsible for everything. So it gives them even the responsibility. And they have, what we usually do is just to take their people, teach them about financing, about savings, because they need them. But they have perfectly done it very well, and it has connected them with each and every one.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? You say, where I started and where you've come, all these small steps. Actually, now that you're looking back at all the things that you've done, they seem like bigger steps when you look at the how it's changing the communities that you've been working with. And also, a thing I know you're proud of is that you now have a family of your own. And how interesting has it been for you to watch your own children grow in a different environment to the one that you experienced?
Oh yeah, it has been good because like you said, I also have a family of 5 children, and it's a different environment. When I was growing up, I didn't expect that maybe at one point in time I would have also my own children. But looking at my own children, and also being responsible, because we are teaching them, yes, this is how we used to be, and this is now how we are. And these are the communities that we come to every other day, because our children, we have been able also to teach them that actually you need to be happy with the little that you have. And the little that you have, you also need to think about others. So every December, we organize what we call community party, where we have all these community members. We usher in a small party for them, like a Christmas party. Someone offered, a friend of us offered to sponsor this village every Christmas, and we make sure that our children are able they want to help serving this very community, and the little they have, the clothes they have, which are not either still fitting them, the others who still need them. So they participate in doing so, and actually every other time we don't go there, they say that when are we going there? When are we going there? So they're also part of the community, and they're also contributing towards this very community. So it's a good feeling coming from a humble background, and you seeing your children, you are raising your own children, and also the other hundreds of other children from other different backgrounds. It is very humbling, and it is something that we are passionate about and we are proud of, because we feel, what if someone didn't touch our heart? What if someone didn't help us? Where would all these children be? Where would all this community be? So it is our thanks to people who supported us, to the people who gave us, who opened doors for us, that now for us we're also opening doors for other people.
Yeah, no, it's good that you have this feeling of being together as one family. So, well, this is a difficult question to answer, but I'm sure you will give it your best shot. So,
Okay.
where do you think the potential of your ecosystem can go? You know, you seem to have conquered many things, but I'm sure you are also a realistic person. The job is never done, I suppose.
Yeah.
There's always one more village, perhaps one more project. You know, you're building a different kind of school. Uh, you've met very interesting people through your travel company.
Yeah.
What's next? You know, if you think about, you know, the traditional question is, what do you think Amatsiko, your your ecosystem, what could it be in the years to come?
Okay, thank you. Yeah, of course, like we have been able to build all that we have been able to build. We are looking at dreaming big, like you said. We are trying to dream big, because we have been able to have these children from primary to secondary school. So the goal is that now, one is that the campus that we are trying to set up is that we dream that we want to have the best campus where the children are happy. We have the best playground for them where they can be able to have some different games. We have the swimming pool for them, because most of them have never even seen a swimming pool. So we are like, what if we had a campus where these children have the swimming with the swimming pool, they have the good playground, they have the flushing toilets, and all of that we are looking at building. That is the structure that we are looking at building. But also the next project is, we are saying that now we need also to have a skills lab, a skills hub, where we are going to teach our children some skills. Talk about IT, talk about electric installations, talk about plumbing, talk about tourism, talk about farming. So we are looking at that the next thing we are supposed to do is to have all our children have a skill in them, so that communities around can be able to access this skills hub, and someone can be able to have the skill, so that a child, by the time they finish the school from a Amasiko preparatory school, there is already the skill they have, which helps them even when they have completed and maybe they have not been able to continue with their studies. But this skill is required in the community, or this skill can help them even to earn a living even when they're out of the school. So that's what we are aiming to doing in the near future.
It all sounds very exciting, and
Thank you.
well, I can't wait to see how it plays out.
Yeah, we also can't wait to see that.
Well, it's been absolutely amazing, Alex, to have a chat to you today. I really appreciate the time that you've given us today. It's been fascinating listening to your story uh, and everything you've achieved um, so far. Yeah, thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for giving us the time to share with your network. We are really humbled. We just don't take it for granted. We want to say thank you and thank you so much.
You're most welcome.
Thank you.